Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to the Skypark series. Beautiful morning here in Cam Li in Vietnam. Victor Charlie Lima. I found a contract, so I was doing a few flights over the weekend. Finally managed to get to level 5. And I managed to finally unlock the multiple leg contract. So we're going to test that out today. So in particular, we have 3 airports involved. What's going to happen is we'll be departing from this area in Cam Li. We'll be picking up 2 different kinds of cargo, bridge section bolts and hat fabrication tools. And we'll be delivering them to different airports. So we'll be headed west first to Tan Phu Airport. Victor Papa Golf, that's 103 miles, and then from there we'll be dropping off the bridge section bolts, and then another 115 miles to the west to Phnom Penh, capital of Cambodia, Phnom Penh International Airport, dropping off the hat fabrication tools there. So looks pretty interesting, adds a little more twist and more chances for sightseeing. So I'll go and set up the plane, and then I'll catch you guys in the cockpit when we are ready to go. See you in a bit. Yes, and before I forget, the way we're doing this in the CJ4 is we'll actually be doing 2 separate flight plans. So if you look at the little nav map screen here, this is our entire flight plan. We'll be starting from Cam Li, headed to the west to the Tan Phu Airport, and then another way to the west to Phnom Penh International. But we'll do the first leg first. So this one first, plugged into the FMS, and then the second leg afterwards once we land on that middle airport. Right? So that's, I think, how you do it in the CJ4. And seems to be working fine based on the flights I've done over the weekend. We'll see if it serves us well again this time. Okay, I'll continue plugging this in. Okay, welcome back. Both engines are good. Turn on the flight director here. Cruising altitude will be 8,000 feet initially. We'll see if we need to go higher then, but I think this will have some very nice views along the way. So let's stick to 8,000 and see if we need more from there. Fasten seatbelts, guys.
May I have your attention, please? The captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Please fasten your seatbelt and shoulder harness at this time. Thank you.
There we go. And let's just ignore this guy right here. We'll be making a U-turn. We'll be departing from runway 10, which means we'll have to get on the runway there and back taxi all the way to the left, as there is no taxiway directly to that runway. Flaps set to takeoff. Setting the trim for takeoff, so trimming up a bit here. There you go. Controls are good, free and correct. Let's turn on our strobes here and landing lights. And let's do our back taxi all the way through. Interesting how they're just filled with houses. Some very low clouds as well. Actually, I just remembered we haven't really fully configured this yet. So let's get the local altimeter here, 29997. Winds are 36 at 2 knots based on what the nav map is saying. So let's plug those in. Performance, takeoff, 36 at 2 knots. And let me look outside if we are still on the line. Okay, outside air temperature is 22 degrees, 29997. Next page, send. Those are our V speeds for takeoff. Nice. Okay, now we're ready. Good. Just saving a bit of time since we have 2 legs. We'll see if that works in our favor. I was actually planning on enabling pilot with ATC here. I've been using it over the weekend and it's been great. It's been wonderful for those nice ATC, offline ATC coverage for areas like these. where you don't expect real people in ATC in VATSIM. So pilot to ATC works great. Unfortunately, these airports are small enough that they're actually not in Navigraph's database. So you actually have to, you can't plug them in pilot to ATC. You can't find the airport, so you can't file a flight plan. And in short, we can't use pilot to ATC with these things, unfortunately, with these flights. We'll try again next time, maybe we'll get lucky. Anyway, alright, so the ARA heatostatic heaters are on. That should be good, I hope. So I'm too lazy to go through the checklist. We'll figure it out when things go wrong. Probably not the best way of doing this. And let's try again the takeoff, the toga mode. Right, so takeoff. That pitches up 10 degrees. Takeoff mode is set. Takeoff thrust is set. Now let's maintain center line right here. Airspeed's alive. Should have more than enough runway. There we go. V1, rotate. No problem at all there. Positive rate. Gear up. V2 plus 10. Flaps up. Oh, that's beautiful. This looks like a familiar place for me. Like, we have a place that looks similar in the Philippines called Baguio. Quite the same, but a bit different as well. Heading mode. Retain runway heading. Let's go back to climb detent. And let's go to flight level change. 240 knots on the speed. And once we stabilize, we can start about turning. Start thinking about turning. Oh, look at that. An actual flight, I think. Hotel Victor November.
Altitude.
What airline is that? And just like that, we're almost at 8,000 feet already. Right now, I'm still hand flying it. Let's try and if I can hand fly this the rest of the way. Let's see if I can manage that at least. That means, though, I'll have to pull back way on the throttle here so we don't overspeed. I'll have to trim it myself as well. Expect a much bumpier ride, guys, because I'm not enabling autopilot at all. There you go, that works. Alright, so now we're a bit more stable. Let's turn right and join the flight plan. One sec. Do it like that. There you go. Okay, that's more like it. That's hand flying this. And thanks to the working flight director from the CJ4 mod, even if I'm hand flying, I have the full authority. I have the full flight director working for me. So it's easier to hand fly. You still have a bit of guidance. You're not flying in blind. Oh, we are almost at 250 knots here. Let's pull back a bit more. 250 knot limit. Below 10,000 feet. That's more like it. Look at how close we are to idle thrust here. That's how it is when you're flying low with these fancy jets. They tend to be a bit too powerful for the lower levels. Too powerful and too fuel inefficient, but it works. And it feels great. Alright, I think we've had enough fun hand flying. Let's do autopilot there. Arm the nav mode. That looks good. And now let's look outside and do some sightseeing. Oh, that's beautiful. Screenshot right there. We have our thumbnail, guys. Just like that. Easy as that. Oh, beautiful. Look at this. So yeah, we are actually pretty high here. The airport elevation was 4,900 feet. And right now, the airport should be right on our right side here. We should be flying over it. You guys see it? Should be somewhere there, I believe. Not sure I can find it, but regardless, This looks great, although that looks pretty fluffy. If this was real life, we probably wouldn't want to go through those clouds. But thankfully, with Flight Sim 2020, is very kind to us. The clouds are pretty harmless for the most part. You barely even shake, which is, I hope, something they change in the future, because it really adds a lot of immersion when you can interact with the weather. When it's not just static for sightseeing, when it's something that you really have to avoid to maintain a valid level of immersion in the flight. It's not just for eye candy. That, I think, is a player. King 82. Cool. You're not flying alone. Oh, and look at this. Look at our breadcrumbs. So professional looking. Little nav map. There we go. Departed from runway 10. Straight ahead. Climbed. Stabilized. And then when we were ready, we turned right in a very professional way. And now we are intercepting our flight plan, our intended course. And we'll be following that the rest of the way. This is our first leg right here. Not as good for sightseeing as I would have hoped though. Could have actually turned on the terrain here, so we get a bit more visuals on how the mountains are. Probably not that bad though. Yeah, we're pretty high up now. No issues there. I think it's better than if we just climb to maybe let's say 10,000 or 12,000 feet. Yeah, and let's go to flight level change. Go to climb detent. And let's adjust that flight level change to 240 knots. So that we are at least above the clouds. And it will be a bit more scenic to look at, rather than just seeing white all over IMC. There we go. That's what we like. Cloud surfing situations. Oh, that's beautiful. Exactly why I enjoy the Skypark flights. Focusing on the sightseeing, whether that's landscape below or some fluffy clouds on the way. Either way, oh, that is beautiful. 10,000 feet. Let's turn off the landing lights. Seatbelt signs can go off as well in the meantime. You guys enjoy. We're a bit more stable now. And just like that, 1,000 to go. Beautiful. Yes. Cool. Right, and now because we are beyond 10,000 feet, we can go beyond 250 knots as well. So I'll be speeding this up all the way until we reach the limits of this aircraft, right before that red speed tape. Let's see how long that takes. Looks like we didn't climb high enough though. 12,000 seems like just barely there. But thankfully it's not very cold here. Actually, it's interesting. Static air temperature is 11. Ram air is 25. From what I understand, ram air is like the air outside plus all the winds that we are encountering. That's like the feels like temperature in layman's terms, from how I understand it. The real feel, or however you want to call it. So in this case, is that real? Is that really how it happens? It's 10 degrees outside, but with all the winds, everything that's happening in the plane, it is like 26 degrees from the point of view of the plane. Is that how you read that? It's actually pretty interesting. Let me pull back on the throttle here. Getting close to the overspeed. Oh, beautiful. Goodness. That is amazing. So how long before top of descent in this case? There we go. TOD is actually coming up close. That should be, let's see, memory 1. 13 minutes before we reach the final 5-mile final for runway 28. But before that, maybe more than half, so around 7 minutes to go before we reach top of descent. And until then, we get some nice sights here. So I'll continue this, guys, and I'll bring you guys back when it's time to land on our first leg. Hope you guys are enjoying the trip so far. Catch you in a bit. Welcome back. Well, I've been having a fun time here, just cloud surfing the entire way. I had to do a bit of adjustment though with the flight plan. Initially, we were planning on a runway 28 approach, but I've been looking at the winds and little nav map, and it looks like the winds are headed the opposite way. So I plugged in runway 10 instead, having a 5-mile final there, and then created a custom waypoint so we don't approach runway 10, the final to runway 10, on a very sharp angle. So I put in an extra leg here. You can see this RX101, that's a custom waypoint. Pretty cool that you can do that in the CJ4. I won't go through in detail on how that works, but there are tutorials and guides for this one. If you look at the mods list, link in the video description, under the CJ4 mod there is the operating handbook that working title also created. There is a link to that operator handbook, and in there is where you can find resources, steps on how to create custom waypoints as well. And then if you've read it and you have more questions, then let me know if I can help. Top of descent is coming up. Let's go and activate VNAV here. And then the runway is 241, I think, in terms of elevation. Let's go then to maybe... let's go to maybe just a little bit above 300 feet. Should be pretty close. And I brought you guys back so that we are in time to start the descent and push through the clouds again. Some very scenic sights await us. Where we're going, this Tanfu Airport, Victor Papa Golf, is actually just to the north of the Ho Chi Minh City. The city we landed in Vietnam initially, a couple of episodes ago. Snowflake coming up. I was going to show you the map, but looks like we are starting top of descent. So let me pull back on the throttle. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. We'll just go to idle here so we can slow down very fast, very quickly, as we'll be at 10,000 feet in no time here. There we go, starting our descent. And that's beautiful. Can't see much below yet. Some pretty thick clouds here covering the scenery, but we should get some nice views once we punch through here. That is one of the things I'm looking forward to. Punching through clouds when climbing and punching through clouds when descending. I guess that's one of the advantages with Flight Sim 2020, when you don't have those full implementation of thunderstorms yet. So even if you punch through those violent thunderstorms, even if they are thunderstorms or friendly cumulus clouds, whatever, whichever type you choose, more or less all of them are friendly right now in FS 2020. I guess in a future update, Asobo will implement that more to be a bit more realistic. Right now it's a bit more, how to say, beginner friendly and sightseeing friendly at that. 10,000 feet. Turn on the landing lights, logo lights as well, and fasten seatbelts, guys.
May I have your attention, please?
We are in for a ride here.
Turned on the seatbelt sign. Please fasten your seatbelt and shoulder harness at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, slow it down. Now we don't just want to be at 250 knots, we want to be at 200 knots so we can start extending our flaps, configuring ourselves for landing. There we go, in the soup. Out of the soup. How fast are we descending here? 1,400 feet per minute based on what VNAV has computed for us. Oh, there we go. A bit of land. Finally getting to see something. This is cool though. This is only the first leg of our journey. Actually not sure how to lay out these episodes. It's going to be a bit of trial and error, guys, but episode might go long a bit. Might have to cut a few more things, but we'll see. Either way, we'll try to make it good. So let me know if you have suggestions, okay? We need anti-ice, not at all. 21 degrees ram air temperature. No risk of icing with those kinds of temps. I think they only start turning on the anti-ice at 10 degrees Celsius or below. Okay, 225 knots. Oh, this is a pretty thick cloud cover. I have terrain enabled, so in case we are at risk of hitting some obstacles in front of us, some mountains, that should light up in the terrain radar. So far though, so good. Looks like pretty clear in front of us. And there we go, we are seeing something in front already. Clouds are starting to dissipate. Some nice looking rivers. Continuing our descent and slowing down bit by bit. This is the fun thing about flying. This is why I love flight sim. There we go. Nice town right there. I was looking at Little Nav map trying to pronounce the city name, but I decided against it. Let me show you instead. So that's Little Nav map. Those are real traffic. That's us. That's the city of Hoc Vinh. Probably not how you pronounce it, but you get the point. In this city we're going to is right to the north, pretty close to Ho Chi Minh, Tan Son Nhat Airport. So maybe we see something of the capital as well from afar. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we're kind of doing like a very large traffic pattern here. But we're turning left base here soon in 6 miles, looks like. I've already calculated the landing speeds for us based on our current weight. Landing weight 14,300 based on the weather in the airport 107,114. That should be good, right? And in terms of the airport layout, if you look at Little Nav map again, it should be pretty straightforward. Runway 10 is actually perfect. 95 degrees on the runway heading there. And looks like the ramps are at the end of the runway. So as we land, we should be right in front. Should be seeing the taxiway to our left soon. We'll see how that works. Alright. Slowing down even more. We should see the airport actually on our left. Here we go again, guys. How do you find that airport? I'm expecting the airport should be somewhere there. Can't quite see it yet. Anyway, let me enjoy the scenery here a bit in the essence of time. You guys think I should skip this? Let's see. Well, it's just 2 minutes away, so might as well bring you guys along. Yeah, I'll bring you guys along. I think I'll need to put up some speed brakes though, because we are too fast here. There's no chance for me to deploy my flaps. If we're this fast, we'd have to be at 200 knots. You can see the flap 15 indicator there, and the speed brakes are doing a lot of good work for us. Wrong button. There we go. Runway 10 should be 10 o'clock. Still have no visual on it. Thankfully, we are now 200 knots. There we go. Stowing the speed brakes. Flaps 15 instead. Still at idle. I've been an idle thrust, guys, for a while now. Saving a lot of fuel that way at least. There you go. 2,500 feet above ground. You can see it on the radar altimeter there. Looks good here. Very naturey, isn't it? Kind of like exactly what you expect in Vietnam. Alright, turning final. That should be, what's it? 09 3? 09 5 on the heading? 09 5 looks like. Alright. Start extending, landing here. See it from outside. Oh, that looks so pro. That looks so pro. Love that. But where's the airport? I have no idea. You guys see it? If you guys see it, let me know, okay? Zoom in a bit. Ah, there it is. There it is. Very sneaky. Goodness, no lights whatsoever.
Altitude.
1,000 to go. Should be okay. Flaps 35. Full flaps for landing. Let's take it the rest of the way here, guys.
Autopilot.
Add a bit of excitement to the mix. After all, we still have flight directors here. We have a virtual glide path guiding us. I kind of see the runway, kind of. Not so sure that's the one. Yeah, okay, I have visual on it now. The sun in front of us is not helping, but yeah, I see it. Seat belts are fastened. Yes, everything is set. 3 greens on the landing gears. So that means landing gears are fully deployed. Flap indication is full as well. Alright. Stable approach so far, and winds are exactly coming from in front of us. So that will help with the how do you call it? Landing roll. So as we land, as we slow down, it will lessen the distance that we need. Speed up a bit. Oh, we can see some houses here actually. Very nice countryside vibes. Cool. Focus, focus. Okay, there we go. Continue descending. Alright. There we have it. Good. Going to idle thrust. Here we are. Oh, don't float. Too late. Alright, fine. It's okay. Ground spoilers are deployed. What the heck is that car doing right here? Thankfully, we were a bit away from him. We actually reached the end of the runway just in time. Phew, that was scary. That's okay, good. Turn off the heater. Let's make our turn here on the taxiway, and we can drop off the first load that we have, and then the next one we'll have to program the flight plan again, do all the calculations, and then go on our second leg. That car was the big question mark. Now where the heck is the taxiway? What taxiway? That's the taxiway? Yeah, it's a dirt road. There you go, you can take that. Right, stop here. Okay, so let's unload the stuff. We won't even turn off the engine anymore. Just keep it like that. And I'll program the flight plan. First, I'll show you. So we can deliver the bridge section bolts now. And now we get to Phnom Penh. Okay, so let me configure the flight plan because that requires changing the origin and destination and all the other stuff. So catch you guys in a few minutes. Welcome back, guys. Just back taxiing here, runway 10, and we are ready for our departure. But given that earlier experience, I think it's best I maximize the runway here. So let's maybe take a wider berth. use up as much of the runway as we can. Start from the edge here. That looks okay. So winds are still favoring runway 10, so we'll be keeping it this way. 0905, the car is still there. Ignore that guy. Take off. Toga mode. There we go. Looking good. Heaters are on. Take off detent. Take off thrust is set. Maintain center line. Use the rudders. Airspeed's alive. V1 coming up very shortly. V1. Rotate. Come on, you can do it. There you go. Positive rate. Here up. V2 plus 10. Flaps up. Did I forget my flaps? I might have forgotten my flaps. That's why it was harder to actually take off. That might have been a very disastrous occasion there. Thankfully, nothing happened. No one saw anything, okay? No one saw anything. Fine. Alright. 1,500 feet. Let's go back to the climb detent here. Light level change. Let me hand fly this a bit. Looking good. And then let's turn to the right again, so we can intercept our course. 8,000 feet cruising altitude on the second leg of the flight. Hopefully I didn't forget to pick up anything. I don't think I did. We'll see if that changes. Okay. Just hand flying. Looking good there. Yeah, they've tweaked the flight dynamics very well for this mod. Feels like a proper jet. And even if you're hand flying it, it feels so stable. Punching through clouds. Just a tad. It's arm nav mode.
Altitude.
1,000 to go. Need to push back on the throttles again so we don't overspeed. And now we're right above the clouds. Beautiful. It's a nice view. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Let autopilot take us the rest of the way. Nice. Go for some sightseeing again. I think we need to be above these again. I might need to climb to 12,000 again, just so we get some nicer sights. But actually, yeah, top of descent is coming up very shortly. I'm actually thinking it might be best if I instead descend. Let's see. If you look at the timing, memory 1, LMOP is 10 minutes, Bavet is 15 minutes. Top of descent is somewhere in between, so that's 12 minutes from now. It's actually not too bad. Yeah, might as well go lower here in this case. Let's try it. So let's go 6,000 feet. And let's vertical speed 1,000 feet per minute. 1-3. A gentle climb there, a gentle descent rather. Just to enjoy the sights a bit more. Make sure to not go beyond 250 knots. There we go. Throttles are set to idle again. I enjoy these sightseeing tours with the jet. Normally when you say sightseeing tours, you want to fly low and slow. But in this case, I want some nice avionics as well. So getting the best of all worlds, why not? Oh, that looks pretty fancy. What is that? In front of us. I'm trying to read it, but I can't.
Altitude.
Probably not anywhere near how you pronounce it. That's fine. Is that an airport? Might actually be an airport. Interesting. Cool. We can probably... Nah, 6,000 is okay. And then we'll keep it this. So there's, I can sightsee all over the place. Unfortunately, I think I'll have to jump from here. Otherwise, it might take too long for you guys. So I'll let you admire the view for a bit. And then I'll bring you guys back when we're closer to Phnom Penh. Where is the border? That might be an interesting one though. Okay, the border between Vietnam and Cambodia is a little bit before we reach El Mop. So somewhere there would be the border of Vietnam and Cambodia. Somewhere in front of us. That's pretty cool. Let's have a look outside. Not too shabby. I like. Alright. Ooh, another player right there. And there's that like small mountain in front. Everything else is plain flat though. Maybe Vietnam is the Netherlands of Asia with regard to how flat the lands are. Interesting. Okay, catch you guys in a bit. That looks great. Feels a bit strange though, seeing clouds above you rather than below you, especially in this plane. But everything is still looking good so far. So I was studying the arrival and the approach. Looks like we have something interesting ahead of us, something different for a change. Let me show you Navigraph here. So our arrival is the Bavet 1 Alpha. Arrival right here. There we are, El Mop, direct to Bavet. And the interesting thing is that at Bavet, we are required to be at 5,000 exactly, not above, not below. That's what these two lines represent. So at 5,000, Bavet at 5,000, and Buta at 5,000 as well. So we have to be level here. So the typical VNAV behavior of like continuing descent all the way to the airport will not do. So I'm pretty interested to see if the CJ4 mod, the VNAV implementation of that, supports this type of thing where you descend, you level off, and then you descend again. And here the same thing happens, 2,000 at Tamen and 2,000 at Costa, so you level off there. That is quite interesting. And then from Costa, you have the ILS-23 approach. So we go straight, turn left to Romja right there. We can manage that. But yeah, interesting to see how VNAV of the CJ4 will make that work, and that should be happening a few minutes from now. So what we can do is actually set our selected altitude to the final approach fix altitude, 1,700 feet, and then let VNAV take us the rest of the way, and let's test if that will be enough. So let's set that up 1,700. And then activate VNAV and see what it will do. There we go, snowflake has appeared. Top of descent indication, snowflake started moving. Let me pull back on the throttle here. And let's see if we'll make it to 5,000 by the time we reach Bavet, which is 4 miles from now. And let's see if the plane will stay level after Bavet until it reaches the next waypoint. Top of descent is blinking. Descent has started. Beautiful clouds. Wow. So we do see that there is a 5,000 feet limit there, vertical constraint from the FMS. So that is represented there in the FMS exactly, 5,000. Yeah, it does follow the arrival that we were studying. So far that looks promising. But the real test is, yeah, when it gets to Bavet, I think we'll be at 5,000 by Bavet more or less. But will we stay at 5,000? Let's see. 5,200. Come on. Come on. End level. Nice. That works, guys. Yeah, that exactly works. So we are staying at 5,000 now. And you can see the next stop of descent is actually way there after we cross Vuta, which is exactly what it should be. Because after Vuta, it has to descend quickly to 2,000. Oh, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And then the 1.3 degrees here, I'm not sure if that's the descent angle. Oh, cool. Alright. So the first test has been passed. We're staying at 5,000. Catch you guys in a bit to see how it works in descending to 2,000 then. Wow. Oh, that's a beautiful sight. Looks like this area in Cambodia is pretty scenic and full of different shaped rivers. Look at this one. Little nav map where we are. Look at... Oh, that's nice. All these different rivers that I can't know how to pronounce. Or lakes maybe. Mekong River is this one though. Oh, cool. It traverses through right next to Phnom Penh there. Nice. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Okay, let's have a look outside again. Yeah. Super scenic view. That might actually be better for a screenshot, for a thumbnail. Quite confused which one to pick now. That is very nice. Alright, let's get back into the cockpit. Okay, for serious matters, oh, that's perfect timing. Top of descent should be right beyond this waypoint. So let's start slowing down. And then let's see how fast that descent will be. Beautiful outside. Isn't that convenient? Just having to set the final approach fixed altitude 1,700 and then the plane will take care of everything else for you, following all the vertical restrictions. Let's see, does that work? It seems to be working so far. We have started descending. VPAT is active, enunciated. Alt V is armed. That means it will level off at 2,000 feet, which is the restriction at Tamen. There's also a message, MSG there on that one. Lock will be tuned, and now it has disappeared because now it has changed our NAV1 109.7 to be the same as the one for the ILS approach. So if you look at Navigraph again, 109.7 automatically tuned in. How beautiful is this implementation of this plane? And this is all free. My goodness, amazing stuff. It's a very shallow descent. I think that is accurate. If you go to the legs page, it says 1.3 degrees. That's the descent, the vertical path angle, I think. Like here from Romja to the runway, that's a 3.1 degree descent, which is pretty standard when it comes to approaches. So it's a very subtle, very slow descent right here. So it was able to calculate that given 5,000 starting point and 2,000 as the target altitude, it computed how to descend within the appropriate time. Nice. Pretty nice town there. Lots of farmlands as well. I guess that makes sense. Being close to a river, lots of livelihoods can be here. Oh, that's pretty cool actually. That might be one of the main country roads. You can see houses tracing through, filled with trees, houses, and different buildings. That is pretty cool. And we are at that altitude where it is pretty scenic already. So the details are mostly shown. Be quiet, I went beyond 250 knots there. No one needs to know. No one's complaining, right? It's okay. Right, so far so good. Views are amazing. The plane is beautifully following all the constraints. So I'll keep at this. Bring you guys back when we're close to the approach then. That was strange. Autopilot suddenly banked to the left. And then I had to disable and re-enable nav mode, LNAV1, and go to heading mode and stuff. Felt like it kind of like, I don't know, bugged out a bit. Might be more of a Microsoft issue there. So I've heard similar reports, other people commenting the same thing on my videos. What is the problem when it suddenly banks to the left? And the most common advice there is you have to check your dead zone. Your joystick might be noisy. It might be putting in some controls in addition to the autopilot, so it's confusing the autopilot a bit. Something like that maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see how it looks. Anyway, everything's good now. Little bit of manual intervention just to keep it exciting. Oh man, Phnom Penh looks beautiful. And now we are getting out of the countryside and into the city. Look at the density of the buildings right there. How realistic does this look, guys? Huh? And yes, we are following exactly that 2000 vertical constraint in Tamen and Costa. So we are level off at 2000. And we'll be starting our descent right there as we turn left into the approach to ILS 23. That is beautiful. Okay. Alright. Set our flaps for 15. Let's arm the approach here. We have the Ghost ILS. You can see there. So I'm assuming, I'm hoping that that kind of automation works as well. There we go. That automation, the NAV-to-NAV mode. From NAV mode, it automatically switches to ILS, the localizer. So it becomes green. And now we are level off here, following the flight plan. I would have expected it descends to 1,700 though and then waits there. Maybe I shouldn't have armed the approach yet. Anyway, it's all good. It will work one way or another anyway. There's the runway in front of us, and there are all the beautiful buildings in Phnom Penh. Let's take another photo there. Beautiful. Okay. Approach has been calculated a while ago. Missed approach is there as well. I'm still not sure why the missed approach doesn't appear anymore for me. Anyone know why that is? Glide slope coming down. 1 dot away. Let's extend our landing gear. Slow us down even further. Glide slope is captured. And now we are starting our descent. There we go. And since that is captured, I'll increase the selected altitude to 2,000 feet, which is the missed approach altitude. If ever we need to go missed, that's how much we need to climb to. Wow. There's even a bridge there. Phnom Penh, everyone. I haven't been here in real life. I've been to Cambodia before, but only in Siem Reap, I think it is, where the this Angkor Wat is. Maybe we can go there in one of these episodes. That's, I think, closer to Thailand. But I think in the next few episodes we will be focusing on the UK, because the UK World Update is coming soon. Let's not forget full flaps here. Start slowing down to approach speed. There we go. That is beautiful. Minimums here are 260 actually. I actually did not plug that in. Well, maybe it's not too late. Barrow 260. There you go. Just so we hear a bit of minimums as we get there. And we can go
autopilot
and hand fly this thing home. It's looking good. Winds are coming from the left. Should be pretty mild though. Approach speeds. Yeah, just a little bit of crabbing to the left side here. Nothing too extreme. Bit high. Interestingly, there is no puppy lights.
500.
Too white, too red, nothing. But thankfully there is an ILS guidance, so not flying in blind here. Lots of guidance along the way. It's a pretty long runway considering comparing with the runway we landed a while ago, so no problems there. Beautiful.
Minimum. Minimum.
Decrab. Continue. Need to decrab later as we approach. Right before we touch down, we push a little bit the right rudder so that we are facing directly the runway. Okay, going to idle. Decrabbing. Little bit of right rudder action. There we go. Beautiful. Love it. And let the speed brake slow us down. Let's get to the other taxiway here. Is there a way to the left as well? Nah, right is where the gate is based on the airport diagram. And there should be a taxiway. Taxiway Charlie on our right side. Welcome to Phnom Penh, everybody. Flaps going up. Where is it? Oh, there it is, I think. Where the blue lights are. Beautiful airport lights in here though. No complaints at all. There it is. Start slowing down. And turn off. Very nice. Let's turn off the heaters so that doesn't overheat on the ground. Oh, and let's not overturn. That's the problem when you start looking out inside. Losing your reference. Okay, and let's follow on through here. So it's best if I can use the buttons even from this view so we don't lose our sight. Taxi lights, turn off strobes. Everything else can remain. Cool. It's nice actually. I've been browsing the contracts in Skypark. There are more types of multiple contracts. What we've done is 2 legs. There are, I think, even more. And I took a contract over the weekend that was like 3 legs, I think. It takes you back to the airport you came from. Quite interesting. So I think we can turn off here. Just park wherever here. I don't think we'll be lucky enough for a marshaller. Unless we can follow that car. No, I doubt it. It doesn't care for much. Doesn't care for us as much at all. Yeah, we can stop here. Welcome to Phnom Penh, guys. I'm sure with how fancy our jet is, they'll find a way to bring a car here or just tug this plane wherever it needs to go. That should be okay. Alright. Seatbelts can go off. Everybody good. Let's turn off the air conditioning, avionics, and now we can turn off the engine. There we go. 1 hour flight all in all. 2 legs. Let's not forget to deliver this though and finish the contract. Nice. 1,000 bucks, 84 XP. Well on our way to level 6. Well, hope you enjoyed that trip, guys. Looking forward to more with you. As I mentioned a while ago, you can expect we will probably be staying and enjoying the UK in the next few episodes with the world update that's coming out soon. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Clumsy flying, everybody, and catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.